Welcome to the Comics Corner podcast with B-Lar and Danny P. We'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And the most thing that Danny and I are thankful for is you, our listeners. We're so happy that you have come with us on this journey. We enjoy coming to you every week, bringing to you what we're reading and new books that are coming out. It's a great joy of ours. And now saying that, I want to let you guys know that we're not going to be giving you too much information this week. Diamond Books didn't ship to the comic book stores, and they had an issue at their warehouse. Nothing was damaged. They were moving, is my understanding, to a new warehouse. So books didn't get shipped. So some of the new books that were supposed to come out didn't come out. Some did. So instead of trying to guess what did and didn't come out, we're just going to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and bring you our interview with Dan Sears. If you remember, Dan's a buddy of mine who never read a comic book and does not enjoy comic book movies too much. So we did a little interview with him, found out what he likes in movies, and tried to transfer that onto some comic books. And here are the results after Danny has read Redcoat #1 and Minky Woodcock, The Girl of Cthulhu #1. Do you collect comics and need an easy way to catalog your books? I have the app for you. Try the CLZ app. This app gives you the ability to scan your books using a barcode or individually or as a series. Just type in the book name and click the box and boom, the comic is in your collection. The app has variant covers and most new books each week, even the independents. You can try the CLZ app for free for 7 days. After the trial period is up, it is only $1.99 a month or $19.99 for the year. So get the CLZ app wherever you download your apps today. Well, we're welcoming back Dan Sears to the podcast. And Dan sent you a couple of comics. Minky Woodcock, The Girl of Cthulhu #1 and Redcoat #1. What'd you think of the books?
All right. So I guess I should have known this when I was starting, because I guess I've never read comics. But as I was almost to the end, just happened to read Redcoat first. When I was almost to the end, I realized, oh, this isn't the end. There's going to be more of these. Then I thought, yeah, this is the purpose to get you to buy more. So I'll start off with Redcoat here. I thought the art in Redcoat was very good. I really liked the art. I like the art better in Redcoat than in the Minky Woodcock, but I like the story in Minky Woodcock better than the Redcoat story. Not that I didn't like Redcoat. I liked it. I was a little baffled at first about Redcoat. And then, at the start of it, on the third or fourth page, one of the things they say is, are you intrigued, confused? And I was confused because, there's some kind of bug invasion going on. So I realized pretty quickly that this wasn't going to be like a real life type story.
Sure.
So I was a little confused, but I wanted to figure out what was going on. So when Simon, the coward as he called himself, he said that he was a curious person, and that led to his demise, and his curiosity. I was a little, when he goes to like 1890, I was a little confused. I know the comic's called Redcoat, but I'm a little surprised he still has his red coat on 100 some years later.
Right.
He would stand out like a sore thumb, He kind of looked like he was in the West, American West at that point, being in a saloon type setting and a little tavern and with hotel rooms in it and things. So I'm like, he would really stand out if he was wearing a red coat, which maybe that gets him into trouble because he said that he always had problems,
Not the best decision maker.
No. And there was a lot of, questions about his immortality. It's like he said he died several times when he woke up and he wasn't buried, and he kind of freaked out and he suffocated. But I'm like, if he all of a sudden he was born again, would he just suffocate right away because there'd be no air down there? So
Right.
you
Right.
just gotta, turn a blind eye to those kind of things. But I was wondering. They said when he got these, immortality, they said that he was not worthy. So if Ben Franklin had gotten these powers, I'm assuming he would have been worthy. So what would his powers have been? Would he just been immortal, or would he have had more powers since he was worthy? So that.
Good question. Good question. Maybe you'll find out in issue 2.
Okay.
All right. So what'd you think of Minky Woodcock and the Girl of Cthulhu?
Is that how you pronounce that? Cthulhu?
Yes, Cthulhu.
Okay. I like the story of Minky. I was, in the first frame there, I was very happy they covered up Houdini's junk and we didn't have to see that. As Brian knows from our movie club, I don't like seeing guys' stuff, hanging out everywhere.
Yes, that was the consideration was taken.
But yeah, very interesting story. Houdini, of course, died in Detroit, and and supposedly he died of appendicitis. But it's one of the things that Minky says. She thinks that he may have been some foul play that went on with his death. And then the character, the B666 character, comes into it in her detective agency. Well, they never show her dad. I guess where was he doing, golfing or something?
Yeah, he was out.
Yeah. So they don't, in this first issue anyway, they don't show her dad. And that's one of the things they have on the detective. At first it says, and son, but then later on you see it was scratched off and says and daughter.
Right.
So it seems like the son is, out auditioning and things like that rather than working at the detective agency. But I was interested to know why Betty, whose husband died by drinking the tainted water, why would she think that the beast had anything to do with his death when he told her, them not to drink from the stream? Or is she thinking that he poisoned him somehow in some other way? So yeah, and maybe I guess I would find that out maybe in future issues.
Maybe you'll find out in issue 2. So then I guess the next question, one that we threw out there to you, is if you could guess who picked what book. You probably know because you listen to the podcast every week, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you held back. So
Yeah, I
who
missed
do
the
you
first
think?
couple episodes there.
Gotcha. So who do you think picked which book for you?
Okay, I'm going to go with Danny picked Redcoat and you picked Mindy Woodcock.
Well, you got it wrong.
Oh, really? Darn.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that not Danny, not knowing me, would have picked something a little more conservative, like
Right.
Redcoat, and that.
Danny's reasoning. He saw. We listened to your interview with me, and you had mentioned Rachel McAdams as one of your favorite actresses, and he said he felt a Minky Woodcock could be played by Rachel McAdams, so he chose that for you.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
Redcoat, with the history and the war, the Independence War, and the mystic part of it, I thought you might enjoy Redcoat. So
I had a
the big
50-50
question,
shot and I blew
yeah,
it.
you did. The big question: will you consider picking up issue 2 of either of these books?
Yeah, I definitely would. Because they're interesting stories. I would get next issue for either of them.
Okay,
I'd like to see what happens with these. Can I ask you a question here?
sure. If I know the answer, I'll be happy to tell you.
I mean, you can just say roughly, like the two books. How many more books are there, or is it still going on?
Okay, I do know the answer to that. Yes, right now, Minky Woodcock #2 just came out last week, and Redcoat is on issue 7. The first 6 issues is the first story arc, and issue 7 is kind of an epilogue to it. And I have not read Minky Woodcock #2 yet, but I am. Redcoat is written by Jeff Johns, and he kind of started his own imprint, part of Image, and he's one of my favorite writers. So I've read all of his stuff, and it continues to do well. And Minky Woodcock actually has another miniseries that was out before. So it's a character that's been written for a couple of series now.
Yeah, I
So,
kind of got that impression. The back few pages were showing her on different comics.
yeah. So, yep, you have the ability to get the other issues. They have several printings of the first few issues of Redcoat, and then Minky Woodcock, like I said, just came out, so you should be able to find it. And I'm sure if you're interested, Danny P can get them sent to you from Comics Corner again.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So he is the owner of this Comics Corner?
Yes, Danny P owns Comics Corner.
Okay. All right, cool.
We will get that worked out for you. Dan, thank you so much. And I appreciate you taking the time to read and visit us here on Comics Corner Podcast.
All right,
well, there you have it, folks. We have converted a non-believer. We have a new fan of comic books. And hopefully we can get Dan to read some other titles out there. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. You can contact us on our webpage, on Facebook, I should say, not webpage, but on our Facebook page, Comics Corner Podcast. You could also reach out to us at Instagram at Comics Corner Pod, and comics, as always, is with an X. We'll be back at it next week, and we'll do a show talking about the past 2 weeks of comics, what we were reading, what came out this week, and what's coming out next week. Thank you, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to all, and read well, everybody.